Nashville is not for me. No, it's not.
It's day 3 update time, friends. Let's talk about what I did today. I drove to Versailles, Kentucky to the Woodford Reserve Distillery, where I took a tour, learned how their bourbon was made, and then we had a tasting. Let's talk about how whiskey is made. Like all booze, bourbon has its own set of rules under which it needs to be created by. One of the rules is that it has to be at least 51% corn. That is, the grain mixture that they use in the process has to be at least 51% corn. And you'll find that a lot of the bourbon distilleries in the Kentucky area use Kentucky corn because it's A, cheaper than bringing it in from farther away, and B, you get to support your local farmers. One of the other rules is that you cannot distill this mixture at more than 160 proof, which is 80% alcohol by volume. And then once it goes through the distillery, you cannot barrel it at more than 125 proof, which is 62.5% alcohol by volume. After you barrel it and it ages, the proof goes up, and that's okay. You just can't distill or barrel it at a higher proof than the U.S. requirements allow. So the basic gist of bourbon is that you mix the grain mixture with water, and that starts the fermentation process. You add yeast, and then the yeast breaks down the sugar into alcohol and CO2, and then once it goes through the fermentation process, you get to put it through the distillers. At the Woodford Reserve, it's triple distilled. I saw all three distillers. Sure, let's go with distillers. That may not be the correct term, but that's what I'm going for. And then once they go through that, they're tested at each level for alcohol content. And then they're barreled. The barrels are rolled down the barrel track. And then they're put in this warehouse where they are aged. And once they've aged to the proper amount according to the distillery's requirements, and each distillery has their own requirements, they are bottled, labeled, boxed, and shipped off and sold to you, the public consumer. Let's take a look, though, at the fermentation containers at the Woodford Reserve. They are 14 feet high and 10 feet in diameter, and I believe 3 out of the 4 of them were full and bubbling when we arrived. Take a look. After the Woodford Reserve, I drove to Nashville, Tennessee, where I arrived in time to head down to Broadway between 2nd and 5th, which is the main tourist area. I guess the locals sort of call it Nash Vegas because it's full of lights, drunk people, and a lot of booze. That's where all of the bars are, where people can go in, drink beers, listen to live music, and sort of discover some new talent or listen to a cover band. I spent a little bit of time there, quite frankly. Not for me. That's it for day 3. We'll say goodnight for now, and I'll see y'all tomorrow for day 4. Bye! I just realized I blended with the walls a little bit. So sad.